Welcome, everyone, to a call for judgment. Today's show, I want to cover something that was posted over on the website by a subscriber named Haven. I want to thank them for posting it. Once I looked it up, it's actually a story that's really out there. So we have seeds being planted for a potential internet apocalypse. And who's letting us know about this internet apocalypse? Well, who better than NASA? The front known as NASA. You know, NASA, they're in space, wink, wink. Yeah, we've only tried to go to the moon once, suppose. You know, all this. I mean, NASA is a laundering front. It's pretty obvious. I mean, if you don't see it at this point, I don't know what to tell you. When they're flying those shuttles into space, wink, wink, into the Bermuda Triangle, I don't know what to tell you. But NASA, I don't know what they would have to do with the internet apocalypse, but we'll find out, I guess. NASA's mission is now to avert the internet apocalypse that could pause online access. Their mission isn't to wink, wink, go to Mars, even though these people are living in Uranus. No, their mission is, of course, to stop an internet apocalypse. So this would pause online access. Such an event could cause people to lose internet access for months or even years, rendering satellites and power lines useless. All right? So what does that sound like? Oh, it sounds like a grid shutdown. It sounds like everything, well, I've been talking about for quite a while. A lot of you probably have been talking about it too, right? It sounds like food shortages, famine. It sounds like people going bonkers, right? Seeds are already being planted with all these purge movies and things like that for people to just go AWOL, right? Oh, internet's down. That's already going to make them AWOL. These people can't be off the internet for 5 minutes. The best thing that could actually happen to the world is that the internet goes down. And look, I'm on the internet posting this stuff, right? I read this stuff. To me, personally, I think the most unhealthy thing in my life is the internet because I think it leads to nothing but bad things. Bad thoughts. It leads to temptation. It leads to, the internet's poison. It's poison. The best thing that could happen is the internet be down, right? And we could all get back outside. And I'm trying to spend more time outside and more time doing actual trades and things so that I could be better, well off and prepared and mentally be healthy and mentally be in the spirit because everything that's on the internet is just poison, right? It's just bad story after bad story. But it would, you would think, make it a healthier world if they, turn the internet off for a while. No social media could end narcissism. But the mind control programming and the narcissism is so bad at this point that people will put their heads through the wall if they don't have access to their phone. They won't know what to do with themselves. I drove by a park a week or two ago. It's a beautiful day. Park, right? Basketball court, baseball field. There wasn't one person there. It was a Saturday. Not one person. No clouds in the sky. It wasn't even a chemtrail in the sky. At the time, at least. I'm sure they showed up. Not one kid. I remember when I was growing up, I mean, that was what you did. You couldn't wait for Saturday because you get out there and you play basketball. You're a boy, you play sports. You're even a girl or whatever. Jump rope, go on the swings, even in the teenage years. Obviously, you continue to play, you do these things. You're active, you're outside, hiking, right? Nobody out there. Why? Because they're probably sitting at home on their phones. So what does that mean when they pull the grid down? Well, it's the stuff they talk about with mental health crisis, with just people losing their minds, right? Now, do you think they'd actually turn off the radiation from the 5G? No, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if this actually is something that occurs during this massive event that's going to occur before 2030. So NASA's launched a spacecraft as part of a mission in an effort to avert a potential internet apocalypse that could leave people without access to the internet for months. According to Mirror, the U.S. Space Agency's Parker Solar Probe has achieved a significant milestone by navigating through the solar wind. Scientists have warned about the potential impact of an upcoming solar storm, commonly referred to as an internet apocalypse, which could strike within the next decade. So they're talking about an EMP, which would be something that they create. I know some people out there don't believe in EMPs because of the way that they believe the earth is shaped and all that stuff, and that's perfectly fine. But the EMPs are actually real. You can create one. You can create something that would wipe out technology. I mean, the military uses it all the time, so that's capable. Them claiming it's from solar flares would not be the case. Them claiming that it's from Russia would not be the case. Right? Or a nuke or something like that. It would be something that they actually do and pull a plug and shut everything off. Now, a lot of people don't think they'll ever do that because they're like, they don't want people off their phones. Well, yes, they do for a short period of time. Eventually, of course, everything will be back online. And then they'll market people by saying, well, we'll never go through that again if we have this inside our bodies. See where I'm going here? Because that's what it's going to lead to. But the movies, the mind control, the purge is the perfect example. The stuff we see all the time now on the news. Even if you don't watch the news, you hear these stories about people are just walking up to one another, shooting them, and, not going to jail and anything else. They're promoting that type of behavior. The government's promoting it. Robbery, murder, chaos, right? Saying, look, there's no consequences for this type of stuff. There's consequences for anyone who speaks out against, the order that's at hand here, the World Economic Forum, et cetera, et cetera. Those consequences, you'll be silenced, you'll be monitored, you'll be spied on, you'll be put on a watch list. But these other people are just creating crimes all over the place. We're not going to look, we're going to look the other way. Well, that's on purpose, just like the Purge movies are on purpose. That's the type of behavior that will ensue with the grid down. That's the type of behavior that will ensue with the internet off, right? With stores and restaurants and groceries shut down so people can't access food. They'll loot the groceries. Then what will they do? They'll start looting homes. When people don't have food and water, they can't live. So that would push them to the brink. This isn't like, oh, somebody, his wife cheated on him. Is he going to go do something about it because he's so upset, or is he going to just turn the other cheek? And most crimes are driven by that. Yeah, well, when it comes to most crimes, they are driven by domestic things and of that nature. But when people don't have food and water, which is something none of these people in our society have experienced before, you would be shocked at the things that they'll literally eat each other, right? And that's where we'll head. So solar, wind, this is the article. And again, I'm not telling you this like what they're saying is actually going to happen, like solar, wind. They're giving you an explanation because they're seed planting for them just doing it on their own. That's what they do. So they can go, oh, we didn't do it. We've been telling you about solar winds. NASA's been telling you about solar flares. Right. And you've been telling us about how you're not protecting the power grid. You've been telling us how we need to switch over to green energy. Right. And we're supposed to believe you're just telling us that for no reason, that you're not actually just going to do it. Right. The question is, how do you get them from point A to point B? Right. Well, they got to create something. And that's what they're doing. So solar wind consists of a continuous stream of charged particles emanating from the sun's outermost atmosphere, is known as the corona. That's hilarious. Despite the harsh conditions of intense heat and radiation, which again, you get that radiation right from the 5G towers, the Parker Solar Probe preserved in gathering vital information about the sun's workings. Professor Stuart Bale not to be confused with Bale, Bale from the Bible, of the California University, who served as the lead author of the study, explained the significance of understanding solar wind. Winds carry lots of information from the sun to the earth, so understanding the mechanism behind the sun's wind is important for practical reasons on Earth. That's going to affect our ability to understand how the sun releases energy and drives geomagnetic storms. So these are all things that they can create on their own. They can create it through geoengineering. But again, like everything else, they need to blame it on something like climate change, like, the boogeyman in the caves over there. They blame it on whatever. You blame it on Russia, right? But in reality, we should all know who's responsible for it. They're telling you what they want. Then they're telling you all these things that, those are all coincidences that are happening, right? Trucks are blowing up, right? Chemicals are going missing on trains. Trains are getting blown up by the government. Water's being contaminated. These are all coincidences. Oh yeah, now there's suddenly solar flares. All this stuff is just happening at once, right? Does anyone remember a time where all of this stuff has happened at once? Even 10 years ago, you'd get a year where you wouldn't hear many stories. You hear about an event at a school. That's about it, it's unbelievable. We just had the outbreak. Now we're having, now solar flares are going to come and the grid's going to get shut down and we have food shortages because Ukraine and we got water contamination and we have droughts. We have cattle flipping upside down from heat exhaustion. Oh, by the way, we had told you that we want to get rid of cows and poultry and we don't want you to eat it. We want you to eat bugs. So conveniently, all the cows are croaking from the heat. Right? They have book after book. All the same people involved, Bill Gates, George Soros, Klaus Schwab, all saying the same stuff, of course. Hollywood promoting the same agendas. But nobody reads between the lines. So the internet apocalypse, you would think would be something actually that would be a great thing, right? When you think about it. But it wouldn't be in this society. Now the Amish, they didn't even know the outbreak occurred. They're not affected by the media. Smartest ones out there. Right? When I was growing up, all you hear about was people making fun of them, how they dressed and things like that. I never thought much about it. I'm like, wow, it must be hard to live without electricity. But if you grew up without electricity, it wouldn't be hard. If we grew up without the internet, it wouldn't be hard. Now, for us, without the internet, it would be a blessing for us. But what will it do to the maniacs out there who can't go 5 seconds without their phone? Well, it'll cause chaos. I've been saying that for years. I've been talking about. Like, how many times have I mentioned people leaving their house without their phone? And some of you are probably guilty of it. And that's not a knock on you. That's from the conditioning that we've all gone through, right? But how, you left your home, won't you go back and get your phone for the most part? Or if you're out and you realize you don't have it, wouldn't you be in a rush to get back? But 20 years ago, people just went out. They went out for the night, 24 hours. They wouldn't report somebody missing because, they didn't respond to a text message, right? So just imagine these people that you see walking around the mall, these Gen Z and millennials who can't, who you could all tell, there's like a species. They all dress the same. They all look the same. They're all what they call them, beta males. They don't look like men anymore. The girls are all just looking like the celebrities. They're covered in glob. They've got Botox at 12, right? You just see them walking around the mall, bumping into stuff. Don't even say excuse me or sorry. They're just so inundated on the phone. Imagine that shut off. You don't think that would create chaos? Oh, it'll create chaos. Because what are these people going to do if it's off? You want to go for a hike? Their head's going to catch fire. Dad's like, hey, why don't we go outside and play ball? Let's have a catch. What? What did you say? I won't catch. What is it, toxic masculinity? I need my phone. I got to get back to playing Sonic the Hedgehog on YouTube. Right? You know these types of people. They're all over the place. You see them every day. So an internet apocalypse being warned to us by NASA, of course. The correlation, of course, I guess is because they'll blame it on sun flaring, right? They won't tell us what NASA's really doing, but NASA's at the laundromat. I'll give you that much information about it here on YouTube if you're not familiar with what NASA really does and what they're a front for. Let's just say they're at the laundromat. Yeah, that's right. For the U.S. government, of course. So get ready. It will occur before 2030. There will be some type of an event with the grid because that's the transition into the green energy. Because once they do this, once they do some type of fake event, then they could say, we're never going back to that. Now that all the grids are off, we got to go green. It'll never happen again with green, right? Until, of course, while we're sun shielding and preventing you from having enough electricity to keep your home heated for 24 hours. Of course, we don't want that because that's not good for the ozone layer. And you know the whole story with the carbon footprint. I can't say it enough. So that's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I thank everyone for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.